Good morning, ladies and gents. A very warm welcome to everybody on this chilly winter morning. I am Olivia Kalous, the service specialist for Gauteng and Mpumalanga. I'm a registered nurse by profession, and I've been with CANSA for 25 years. I'm going to be your facilitator for this program, and my co-facilitator is Emmanuel Peterson, who will be pushing all the correct buttons to ensure that the program runs smoothly. Welcome, Emmanuel, and welcome, Jacques, who's also going to help. Just a few house rules. All the participants be muted. Please leave your comments in the chat box. We will question and answer session at the end of the program, and then you all your questions. But please, if you just put questions in the chat box, that will also help us to refer to them. I was just paging through our Facebook, going through our Facebook support groups, and I came across something that was written by Dee van Wyk, and I assume it's Debbie van Wyk, our very own, well, she monitors the Champions of Hope Facebook page. And it was written there, champions are more than mere survivors. Each one a potential thriver. Warriors, each one, who give their all in the fight. Overcomers of challenges. Keep hope in sight. And that is what each and every one of you are. I want to just take this time now to welcome Gerda Strauss, who's going to be our first speaker. Gerda is our head of service delivery and is a social worker by profession. And Gerda has been with CANSA for many, many years. I think 30 years, Gerda?
Yeah, 30 years. Okay, thank you so much, Olivia. I must say good morning to everybody. I think we are so excited for this event today, and it's my privilege not only to share with you information on all our offerings to survivors, but also to celebrate today Survivors per se, because it's still Survivors Month. And it is wonderful for us to be able to do that. We also want to celebrate our partnership, and Roland will talk a little bit more about our partnership going forward. And then I also just want to offer the apologies of our CEO. She's not able to be here, but she sent best wishes for today. Now, as I said, it is my privilege to introduce our support services, and that can keep us busy for the whole day. But fortunately, Olivia is going to make sure that I'm not extend the time that's allocated to me. So I really will try to stay within time framework. I'm going to do this in 3 parts. The first part will be information on our online support services, then a little bit on the patient offerings that we have, and the last part will be focused on products and partnerships. Emmanuel, you can go on. So how can we now help families, specifically in these times? And I'm so glad to say that CANSA developed over a couple of years a lot of online support services, and then also a few new support offerings last year that I will discuss as we go through. Thank you. One of the older offerings is the iSurvivor program, and there we have Aunt Sophie. And Aunt Sophie is a cancer survivor, and she's sharing on a weekly basis information. You can subscribe for this program, and she will actually support that survivor through the journey with very practical tips, and just to be there and say, but I was also there. We also developed last year on the same format, a specific iSurvivor program for the advanced breast cancer patients. You know that these patients are sometimes fighting a long battle, very alone on their own, and we identified this as a wonderful opportunity to also provide them with this support, online support offering. It was also done by an advanced breast cancer patient with a small team to make sure that we talk the language of these patients. One of the wonderful things that we did last year in partnership with Palprak is that we developed an online booklet for pain control, and not only pain control for adults, but also for pain in children. And this can be downloaded. It's done in a very professional way, but also is understandable for lay people. So this is a wonderful tool. And as I speak, please make notes. If you want to visit our website, you can really just then search for pain guide, and these booklets will come up. You know that through a cancer journey, survivors really suffer and have so many challenges, but 4 of them are definitely diarrhea while they receive treatment, loss of appetite, and nausea and constipation. And we also developed, through the assistance of our dietitian, wonderful tips for cancer patients. That's also downloadable and available on our website. So please go there and see what is available if you are looking for some dietary tips during your treatment. One of the older developments is our cancer coping kit. We did that, if I'm correct, in 2010. That was original available on CDs, but you know nowadays CDs are totally outdated. But it's also available physical copies, a PDF booklet that can be downloaded as an audio version. And these coping kits providing information on what is cancer, all the treatment options, and also a very specific focus on the emotional impact of cancer, and then how to live with cancer. And that is where the tips and also information on diet is then part of this wonderful coping kit. Then we have the wonderful cancer help desk. Although this is not only a communication platform, it provides us with a lot of opportunities for clients, patients, and their loved ones to make contact with cancer. So they can do it through our website. There's a toll-free number available, and there's also 2 emails that is available to post questions on normal information, but also if you need counseling. And I will talk about that a little bit later, a little bit more. But there's also WhatsApp opportunities in multilingual support. There's a specific WhatsApp line of Afrikaans and English, and then also another one for Xhosa, Zulu, Sotho, and Siswati. Now, for smokers, you know, our smokers went through a bad time last year, and a lot of people stopped smoking, and that's good news for us. But we also developed a long time ago an online program that can support people. That's not how to stop smoking. That is a support program. And this is based on the 12-week type of rehabilitation program that people normally follows. And over these 12 weeks, if you then enroll for this, you will receive wonderful emails with really tailor-made tips and guidance on how to stay with your decision to quit smoking. So this is our eKick Butt program. You can go and visit that also on our website. I think one of the things that as an organization we are very proud of is our fact sheets. You know, these fact sheets are very professionally done, widely read throughout the whole world. I think that Lucy last week gave us some stats on how many people globally log into our fact sheets. And that's not only about the 5 big cancers affecting men or women, but there's a lot of other information about cancer-specific facts, and it's reputable. And I can really say, please make sure if somebody needs more information, let they go to our website and just go to fact sheets and see what is available. There's also presentations and other infographics that's available on our website and all downloadable and usable for the public. Then we also developed a while back a few Facebook support groups. Yo, and isn't that wonderful? I think there might be survivors that's on this group that is part of this. Our survivor support group is Champions of Hope. And then we do have a very specific one for carers. You know, carers really sometimes just need opportunity to speak to other people, get a little bit of more encouragement and support. So this is a very, very valuable support group. And then we also have a TLC, that's our Tough Living with Cancer program for children with cancer. And that is then a specific group also for them to support the parents of these children in a WhatsApp support group. One of the most important things is to speak for the voiceless. And Cancer do have a wonderful advocacy program and a way to address issues. I can just mention now that most of you might be aware of the fact of Charlotte Macleod Hospital that burned down, and how Cancer was absolutely instrumental in advocating for these patients. And we are also using a registry to track common patient issues so that we can help people, and we're also part of the Cancer Alliance that make our voice bigger to make us available and to ensure that we can tackle these issues on behalf of our survivors. Yeah, and I think this is now part of our life. Webinars and online virtual things, isn't that wonderful? Sometimes I missed travel, but just on the other side, it's so comfortable to have all these things on your screen available. So we did a lot of webinars. I'm not going to go into detail, but this information is also available and recorded through this wonderful Emmanuel and his company, and make it like part of our library to go on our website, and it's available for everybody to see what we did. Now the second part, I dealt now with the online. If I go now further, there will also be referrals to online links, but more specifically on patient support. And as you heard, I am a social worker, and you know, you never forget the importance of how that patient must feel, what they must go through, and how can we as the Cancer Association be there for our patients. Thank you, Manuel. So last year, when COVID hit us, and we realized that our patients are so vulnerable, they cannot go out, they cannot go for face-to-face counseling, or even our support groups. We will talk about that a little bit later. We realized a long-standing dream, and that is to have a cancer online counseling, online counseling offering. And we went further. That is Cancer. We actually decided we want to make this available in 7 languages. And that is the first of its kind in South Africa. And we're so proud of that. And this is also professional counseling that's been done by our social workers team. So how it works, you can phone into our help desk, the help desk that I spoke about when I started, and the people will assist the patient or the loved one to make a booking with one of our professional counselors. So wonderfully, we also launched that last year on Mandela Day. And since then, the line is really busy and supporting people wherever they are in the whole country. So if you have a phone, you can be reached. Thank you, Manuel. Now, the flagship program for our patient offerings is definitely our care homes. And Cancer provides home-from-home accommodation to patients undergoing treatment at oncology clinics because they're far away, and most of these treatment is up to 6 weeks, specifically if it's radiation. And it is definitely not, the people cannot travel, you know, on a daily basis for that. And that is where Cancer is now providing this wonderful accommodation. It is more than only just the bed. There's transport to and from the various treatment centers, there's meals, there's activities, and also support groups in our care homes. Now, I can really take a whole day talking about our support to children and parents. As I said, we call this program the TLC program, and we also have 5 facilities throughout the country. The first is actually on one premises, that is the Nikkers Lodge in Pretoria, where we have a 48-bed lodging facility for parents on the premises of the hospital. And part of that facility is also a step-down unit where we can accommodate people that needs isolation, children that needs to be isolated. So this is a wonderful and a beautiful lodge. And if you want to visit, please ask us more information so that we can organize a visit to this wonderful facility. We also have a pediatric oncology ward in Polokwane, and then also in Durban, where we have our TLC lodge, and then a small support room in Port Elizabeth and also in Kimberley. Thank you, Emmanuel. Now, today is all about support groups. So support groups is an absolutely integral part of our support to cancer patients. We are doing this for many years, and CANSA recognized the importance of support groups of cancer survivors. And I think through the day, we will learn from each other how important role that plays for a cancer patient and their loved ones to really cope and to be able to go through this whole journey. So we do have active support groups connected then survivors and their loved ones, because this is then a place for them that they feel that they belong. And here members will interact with each other. And there will be always real understanding and sharing, and sometimes tears, and sometimes just a lot of laughter. But this is a wonderful community that I think is also something that patients must not miss. There's also bereavement support that we provide through support groups. Thank you, Emmanuel. Now, one of the recent things that we developed for online support is our Connect with Care for stoma patients. And this is wonderful. You know, WhatsApp video can do wonders. So we have now patients all over the country that can phone in, and if they have a stoma problem, they can take a picture, even a video, and have then a specialist supporting them with this specific problem. So this can also then be booked through our help desk. And I think that this is, although it's new, it will grow very fast. And you know, stoma patients are so many times isolated. And this offering brings the support and the care in the patient's home. Yeah, I think that part of our development around the whole stoma is also, I will talk a little bit more, you will see as we go along on the products and so on also. We develop a wonderful tool on our website where there's a lot of stoma tips and tricks because, you know, old dogs know how to handle difficult situations. And this is throughout experience, we put together this wonderful guide that's also then available on our website. As I said, the last part of this presentation is dealing with patient products and also partners that we have. So a wonderful partnership with M-Store, where we help specifically breast cancer patients. I will talk a little bit later about that more. And then also we have a variety of stoma products from various suppliers available in our stoma clinics. And the M-Store, I will explain a little bit later how we can make a booking with M-Store for breast cancer patients. Thank you, Manuel. We're also selling nappies. We've got a wonderful partnership with Pakamisa Sizwe. They also carrying the seal of approval, CANSA seal of approval, as very good quality nappies. These nappies is available also at our CANSA offices as well as at our stomach clinics, where we can also provide people with things like linen savers and also meal replacements. Yeah, the stomach care, as I said, stomach can be a very, very lonely journey, and not all stomachs are cancer related. It can be due to accident, but these people have the opportunity to support each other and also to get more information on our website on ostomy care. Now back to the M Store. This is a wonderful partnership that we have. M Store is available right through the country, and in our offices, they do have this very specific place. We also do bookings for breast cancer patients where they can then fit bras, and also there's also wigs available and beautiful swimwear for the ladies. And they even go out to the patient's home. So please, guys, if you are interested or you know some of your friends that need this type of support, make contact with CANSA's help desk and we will refer you to your nearest CANSA office or where the M Store is then available. Oh, yeah, this is now wonderful. Our knitted knockers. Currently, there's a lot of buzz around this. I think it's winter and ladies want to knit. So you can buy this wonderful, very special prepared cotton yarn that you will use to knit temporary breast prosthesis. If you can look maybe closer to the screen, you will see that little prosthesis is knitted. And you can get the packs from CANSA for 60 Rand, knit it, and then bring it back to our offices. And normally in October month, we then distribute these temporary breast to breast clinics and treatment centers right over the country. So if you can knit or crochet, please contact us and do that for us. You will definitely make a difference in somebody's life. Yeah, this is a so wonderful partnership. Compassion hats, also available in Australia, but originally from South Africa in the Southern Cape from George, where this was developed by Sue, the lady who owns this company, because she saw the need when her sister was diagnosed with cancer. You know, losing hair, I once cut off all my hair at the shave-a-thon. It was through the winter, and it is so cold. So she has the wonderful range of different type of hats. It also now is Cancer Seal Project, safe to wear, no coloring that can harm you at all in any way, and also available on our website, on the Compassionate Hat website, and at our care homes. And that is all from me. So there's a lot of offerings. And if you are in need, please make use of it. If you know of somebody that are in need, please spread the word. Thank you, Olivia.
Thank you, Gerda, for the wonderful overview of the cancer resources and services. This is an amazing basket of offerings that I'm sure meets the needs of just about everybody that goes onto our website, all cancer patients. So thank you very much for that insight. Gretchen Manar, who's our service manager, psychosocial support, also a social worker by profession, will now introduce the Cancer Support Group Team Steering Committee. Over to you, Gretchen.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Olivia, and thank you, Gerda, for the presentation on our resources. Yeah, like Gerda said, we at CANSA, we recognize and acknowledge the importance of support groups for cancer patients, caregivers, and also their loved ones. And we are looking forward to partner with the Netcare Oncology Nurse Navigators for this virtual support group. Olivia already said that I'm the manager, the service manager for psychosocial support I'm a social worker. I have been with CANSA for 11 years, and I'm based at our Cancer Care Centre in Paarl in the Western Cape. It is with great privilege that I will introduce the rest of our Cancer Steering Committee for the support groups. If I mention your name, please raise your hand, put on your video so that the participants can see who you are. We have Siska Lochenberg. Siska is a trained counsellor and joined the organization in 2018 as a volunteer. She is very passionate about her patients. As a volunteer, she volunteered daily for cancer, and we saw her commitment and loyalty, and she became an employee. And Siska, evident of her passion is that she featured on the Pronted program because she assisted a young patient for the support that was also recognized. So Siska, everybody saw Siska. Ramposi Showe. Ramposi is a qualified social worker. Her father was diagnosed with cancer in 2017, and he also lost his battle to cancer in 2017. And this inspired Ramposi to join the cancer team. A main role or focus at that time was to educate and inform the people of cancer and also the services that we rendered. Ramposi is based at our Nelspruit office. And then we have Sipilisiwe Mabaso. I know she's also on today. So she also started a journey with cancer in 2017. She's in a dual role. She's our services and sustainability coordinator, as well as our care coordinator, also a social worker, and support the patients in the community as well as the patients at our care home in Richards Bay. Abida Steenkamp. Thank you, Spear. Abida Steenkamp. Good morning, Abida. Abida is also a qualified social worker. She was diagnosed with cancer in 2009, and shortly after her diagnosis, she wanted to give back to her fellow cancer survivors, and she joined our organization as a volunteer. She has been volunteering for 11 years, and from 2017 to 2018, she became one of our employees, then returned as a volunteer, and 2021, she will again join us as an employee. Abida is very passionate about support groups. She has started several support groups in the Western Cape and is also the facilitator for that support group. Then we are very privileged to have our facilitator for today, Olivia Kerr-Lewis, also as part of our steering committee. Olivia is the one with the most experience at cancer. She has been with the organization for 30 years, and for 11 years, she was our executive manager in the Gauteng Northwest Limpopo region. Olivia is a clinical specialist currently, and she is a registered professional nurse. So we are so privileged also to have Olivia as part of our steering committee. And Gerda also spoke about our advocacy role that we do play. And I have to say, although Olivia is part of our senior management, she is not afraid to get her hands dirty and will assist on grassroots level when needed. So that is our steering committee. We are looking forward to be part of this support group team and work with Netcare, taking hands with Rowan and her team. And we can't wait for you to join also our next session. Over to you, Olivia.
Thank you, Gretchen, for those very kind words, and thank you to our whole steering committee. Before I introduce Rowan, I just want to bring to your attention that we are recording this whole session for social media purposes. And if anybody does not want to be visually recorded, then please do not turn on your camera So if you do not want to be seen, you are welcome to keep your camera off. Then I also just want to thank Lucy Bologna, our Head of Marketing and Communication, for providing all the links in the chat box. Thank you, Lucy, for your assistance. And it gives me great pleasure to introduce Sister Rowan Robinson, who is a registered oncology nurse with more than 20 years experience working in cancer care. She currently manages the Netcare Oncology Nurse Navigator program and is the lead for quality within the cancer care division of Netcare Limited. Welcome, Rowan.
You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round. And you can't find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out. Move mountains, we gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise like the day, I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid, I'll rise.
We have always had villains and tyrants to face, baddies to take down.
But you're the most horrible of all.
Pure evil.
Just because you're tough, it doesn't mean we can't beat you.
We're not here because we have to be.
We're here because we've had enough of your jib.
Every single one of us is mortal.
Even me.
But inside, we all have the hearts and stomachs of gods.
One person is no army.
When we join together,
You don't stand a chance.
We are glorious.
We are powerful.
And we will win. So stand up with us.
Stand up to fight. Stand up to win.
Stand up to cancer. It's payback time.
I'll rise up, rise like the day, I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000 times again.
Well, good morning to everybody. I hope you can hear me quite clearly. And it's a very warm welcome from quite a chilly Midlands in the KwaZulu-Natal area this morning. So thank you for taking the time to join our first virtual support group for persons living with cancer. And that's whether you are living with cancer through a personal experience as a patient, or perhaps as a caregiver with a loved one who's working and walking this very difficult journey. And throughout my talk, you will hear me mention the cancer journey quite often. From the video clip that we have just watched, it is clear that a huge portion of courage is needed to face the diagnosis of cancer, as well as to commit to its treatments, which typically include surgery, radiation, chemotherapy, immunotherapy, or combinations thereof. In the words of the song from this clip we've just heard, broken down and tired, we are not here because we want to be. Nobody willingly wants to be a member of a cancer club. It would be wonderful if there were a cure option for all patients diagnosed with cancer. However, the reality is that certain cancers do not yet have a curative option. The realistic goal of treatment may be containment or control of the disease, with a focus of comfort and care, ensuring the best possible quality of life and management of any distressing symptoms. One thing is clear: whatever our role is within the world of cancer, we all need support. We are no army, but together we're powerful. So that very word support is defined as to hold up, to give encouragement, assistance, to give courage, faith, confidence, to help and to comfort. Now, you heard from Gerda a little early on when she mentioned some of the benefits of a support group, and these have been documented in several sites, which may include a sense of belonging. Members meet others who might have walked in similar shoes, access to information, support services, resources, and of course, I think quite importantly, just being surrounded by positive people who aim to keep hope alive. We have always believed that it is important to create a space whereby individuals with cancer and their loved ones can gather knowledge, skills, and confidence to make informed decisions about their health and care so that they can become participants in the healthcare journey. Through the medium of a support group, we are convinced that we can empower, enlighten, and educate individuals when they need it most. This group can provide a much needed platform where people who are facing similar challenges, and whether those challenges are physical, emotional, or psychosocial, we can share practical advice and find a compassionate ear, and once again, most importantly, provide hope to those who are also on the journey. So from a historical perspective, in February 2020, the Cancer Association of South Africa, we now know CANSA, and Netcare announced that the two organizations had partnered to establish cancer support groups at 9 of our Netcare hospitals. And we were absolutely determined that these support groups would be open to all persons impacted by cancer, from newly diagnosed individuals starting their cancer treatment to survivors who might have been in remission for years, but also support groups available for family members and caregivers. Our shared passion for offering a holistic model of support to people diagnosed with cancer on their cancer journey made entering into this partnership an easy decision, and we felt privileged to be part of this initiative. However, 1 month later, our world turned upside down, as you will all recall. Very quickly, we were all forced to learn a new vocabulary from March 2020, and we had to face a new reality in our lives. The SARS-CoV-2 virus, more commonly known as COVID-19. And some of this vocabulary included lockdown, social distancing, PPE, pineapple beer home remedies in the absence of legally acquired alcohol. The reality of this new highly contagious virus was that it had and still has the ability to cause a wide range of illness, experienced as anything from a common cold to severe respiratory illness. Most people infected with the virus only experience mild symptoms and recover without needing treatment or hospitalization. However, statistics continue to show us that older people and those with underlying medical conditions such as cardiovascular disease and diabetes, and including patients with cancer undergoing radiation, chemo, and immunotherapies, may be prone to developing the more severe version of the COVID-19 illness. And of course, this has added yet another level of anxiety and distress to our world, which we know is now changed. What happens if I get COVID? How sick will I get? Will I be able to access my cancer treatment, or will there be delays? Should I even be going to a hospital or a clinic? And am I safe when I leave my home? What if my doctor gets sick? Who will treat me then? As South Africans were enforced into lockdown in March 2020 to slow the spread of virus within our communities and to protect our vulnerable citizens, a small window of opportunity was created by our government so that we could prepare ourselves for the oncoming pandemic in our land. Time to learn from other countries' collective experiences on how to flatten a curve, rewrite our policies, purchase additional protective equipment for our healthcare workers, and prepare the healthcare system for the inevitable that was to follow. The rules were made very clear to us on most social platforms, and these still remain relevant today. Wash hands often, social distance, observe sneeze and cough hygiene, essential travel only. And so our carefully laid out plans to offer support groups last year were placed on hold. But as this pandemic has raged on, we have continued to learn new ways of conducting business as usual. Virtual meetings and conferences. We have learned the inner workings of Zoom, Skype, Teams, and the most common phrase uttered in 2020, you're on mute. It is clear that cancer and COVID are forcing us to create new and often creative ways of connecting with each other. How we adjust to this new way of interacting with one another may well determine our futures. As a nurse, I am used to holding my patients. I'm used to holding a hand. I'm used to communicating not only through words, but through my facial expressions as well. Now I have to wear a mask. I have a visor. I wear gloves, creating a necessary but uncomfortable barrier between the two of us. And all I can do is hold you in my heart and let my eyes and the tone of my voice reassure you that we remain committed to your care. So many questions remained unanswered for now because we are still trying to navigate this uncharted territory. And so the idea of a virtual support group was born. Of course, we all agree that this is not our first choice. There's so many preferred ways we would like to connect with one another, but at least we can still connect as this pandemic continues to wreak havoc, and more especially now as we are faced with this third wave, which of course has been described as a tsunami about to happen. At the start of my talk, I referred to the cancer journey. I think being diagnosed with cancer is a little bit like going on a journey without a roadmap, starting with initial screening and diagnosis and moving through treatments, supportive care, survivorship, but sometimes also palliative and end-of-life care. This pathway is officially called the cancer care continuum in oncology circles. It is an extremely personal journey for each person diagnosed with cancer, as well as for their families and sometimes their communities. No two persons having exactly the same diagnosis will experience exactly the same journey. So when you're going on a long journey, it's often helpful to have someone assisting with directions, especially when you're visiting a place that is unfamiliar. Should I turn left? Should I turn right? How do I manage the hazards along the way? How do I get to my destination safely and as comfortably as possible? Well, if you've ever watched any footage of any of the rallies, and I'm thinking of the Dakar rally, which I absolutely love watching every January, you will see that there is a navigator who sits in the car next to the driver, offering guidance, plotting the route, an additional resource and companion on the journey. In 2018, Netcare took the decision to pilot a new service within the private healthcare industry, the Oncology Nurse Navigation Program. Now, there are many different types of navigators working in cancer care, not only just in Netcare, but in both public and private sectors in this country. Each of these navigators has their own skill, knowledge, and experience. They support the patient and their family throughout their personal journey. Nurse navigators are qualified professional nurses who have undergone specialized training in oncology, and they're able to provide additional support through health education and often repeating information that the patient might not have understood, or by directing the patient to appropriate resources. Patient navigators include qualified social workers who are trained in offering psychosocial support. And last but certainly not least, the community-based navigators who offer essential support by speaking up for their patient, advocacy, and making sure that their voice is heard and all their needs are met. Navigators, together with their patients, identify barriers to care. These barriers may be preventing the patient from getting the care they most need and can be divided into physical, emotional, and psychosocial barriers. A physical barrier may include pain, discomfort, and even distance to a treatment center and transport issues. Emotional barriers like fear, anxiety, loss of hope may influence whether a patient will seek medical advice, and include and continue their treatment. Psychosocial barriers influence whether the patient, I've already said that. Psychosocial barriers may include issues of language, culture, religion. The navigator is there to listen and explore possible solutions with their patients that are in keeping with that person's individual life goals. It is often comforting to be able to discuss important areas of concern in your own time, at your own pace, and hopefully in your own language. Each person is treated as a unique being, and the importance of promoting the best quality of life for that person is emphasized. Quality of life refers to the standard of health, comfort, and well-being that you experience. It includes aspects that involve your body, mind, and soul, and not just a disease. During your cancer journey, your quality of life may vary considerably, and it is therefore important that the navigator checks in with you at regular intervals to assess how you're doing. By asking a few simple questions about common symptoms experienced commonly by patients with cancer, and these may include anxiety, fear, pain, appetite, nausea, etc. A profile of how severe your symptoms are for you can be documented over time. This information can be used to guide nursing interventions or medical treatments as prescribed by your doctor in order to restore comfort, dignity, and being able to relieve distressing symptoms or bring them under control. Oncology navigation is quite new in South Africa, and not all treatment centers have access to a navigator as yet. It is certainly my hope that this essential service will continue to develop and expand within this country, providing a compassionate bridge and promoting improved communication between the patient, the treating team, and sometimes, very often, a very confusing healthcare system. So with this in mind, it is my absolute privilege to be able to introduce the Netcare Oncology Nurse Navigators to you who are on this call. And perhaps if they can all ensure that their videos are on and also give a little wave. In the Gauteng region, Sister Alice Banza, who works at Netcare Clinton and Garden City hospitals. Alice works with both pediatric patients and their families. There's Alice. Hi, Alice. And she works with adults who are diagnosed with solid tumors and the hematological tumors. So Alice from Clinton and Garden City hospitals. Mr. Cyril Mtumkulu, the rose amongst the thorns in our group. Cyril, we see you. Hello. Cyril works at Netcare Olivedale and Pinehaven hospitals, mainly with adults diagnosed with solid tumors or the hematological tumors as well. And his specialty is in hematology. Laratu Mukari, sorry Laratu. Laratu works at Netcare Mill Park and Park Lane hospitals with adults diagnosed with mainly solid tumors. She also coordinates the multidisciplinary team meetings for us at that hospital. Sister Mameki Boykanyo. Hi, Mameki. Mameki works in our Swani area at Netcare Pretoria East Hospital and Unitas Hospitals, caring for adults mainly adults, diagnosed with hematological malignancies and also the solid tumors. Across in the Western Cape, we have Sister Letty Blom. Letty, where are you? Wave at us, please. I'm not seeing Letty. There's Letty. Hi, Letty. Letty works at our Christian Barnard Memorial Hospital in Cape Town and N1 City Hospital in Belleville. And she sees a lot of our adult patients, predominantly diagnosed with solid tumors. I am trying to hold up the fort in KwaZulu-Natal at the moment. I see patients at Netcare Kingsway and Amamsantoti, and in Durban area, Parklands and Mshlanga hospitals. We continue to realize the importance of remaining flexible to meet the needs of the current pandemic situation that we are unfortunately facing. And as is a very real example, just this very week, we had to change our entire navigation strategy to virtual navigation, supporting our patients through phone calls, messages, and emails in order to limit unnecessary exposure to our patients and their loved ones during this next surge. Our determination to protect, assist, and support will not be broken. As we all adjust to this new way of life, I pray that your lives will overflow with calm, compassionate care, and that you will find the courage to confront your personal challenges. May you find comfort in the knowledge that you are not alone, that we are community. Rise up again, rise up and don't be afraid. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Rowan. You have such a soothing voice that I think that anybody would feel so comfortable just chatting to you. It is amazing. But there's something very powerful in togetherness. And also so comforting to know, for a cancer patient to know that they never have to walk this journey alone. If they join a support group or they have a navigator that they can turn to show them the way. And you know that in support group you're going to meet people walking a similar path, and you benefit from the collective wisdom of these people in the support group or from the navigator that they've walked that journey with many people before. And I just think that once they get to know each other, they will also feel that they can use these groups to vent whatever they're feeling at that moment, but also to celebrate the victories that they have along the way. Thank you, Rowan. Much appreciated. I now want to introduce to you a very special lady, Ms. Lerato Munyati, aka Skirt Girl Hiker. She's a colorectal cancer warrior and permanent ostomate. She describes herself as an avid, multi-day hiker and a passionate South African. During business hours, development manager for a large banking group, and puts on her superhero cape as the executive member of two organizations, the South African Society of Osteomates and Friends of Lupus Warriors. Welcome, Lerato.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for that lovely welcome. I think the speakers have done such an amazing welcoming this morning. I feel so much part of the family. And today, all I want to say, just if I can speak to one person and touch a life, my purpose will be definitely done. As I said, it is an honor to be invited today to the coming together, to actually witness the coming together of two great organizations whose sole priority is to serve others and to impact lives in a very positive way. Emmanuel, we can play the video, thanks.
I will fight for you. I always do until my heart is black and blue. And I will stay with you. we'll make it to the other side, like lovers do. I'll reach my hands out in the dark and wait for yours to, until I can wait for you. I'll wait for you. 'Cause I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up, no, not yet. Even when I'm down to my last breath, even when they say there's nothing left, so don't give up on. I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up, no, not me. Even when nobody else believes, I'm not going down that easily, so don't give up on me. Now we'll I'll hold on to you, no matter what this world throws. It won't shake me loose. I'll reach my hands out in the dark and wait for yours too, until I can wait for you. I'll wait for you. 'Cause I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up, no, not yet. Even when I'm down to my last breath, even when they say there's nothing left, so don't give up on. I'm not giving up, I'm not giving up, no, not me. Even when nobody else believes, I'm not going down that easily, so don't give up on me. I will fight for you. I always do, until my heart is black and blue.
Fantastic. I hope you enjoyed that. My name is Lerato, as I said, and I grew up as a simple girl in Krugersdorp to a family of 2 girls. I love the outdoors. I've always loved the outdoors. My family, from a young age, have always taken us outdoors. So for me, I found my calling out there. I feel that I want to be outdoors always, hiking, smelling the flowers, seeing the waterfalls. I think nature heals. Even a little that you see with the flower that's growing by the wayside, it heals. Today, I speak to you as Lerato, the explorer, a daughter, a sister, a friend, a mother, a hiker, an educator, and an activist. Today, I stand with you as a cancer warrior and an ostomate. And I feel, as Gerda was talking and introducing the stoma ward, that I felt that cancer was actually made for me, because I feel I'm a warrior as well as a stoma patient, 2 things that actually are part of the service that Cancer Association is offering. The journey to diagnosis was not an easy one. I was just my normal self, being outdoors, loving what I do. It was around 2019, December. And I was with a couple of friends of mine, and we were just enjoying ourselves out in the hiking area. And we had a camping with little kids. I felt a bit of discomfort within me. And I obviously checked it out with the hospital. I was told that I have hemorrhoids. And come March around 2020, obviously we hit lockdown around that time. Everybody was just not so afraid to go outside, as you would know. We were on lockdown, it was COVID, it was quite scary. And around this time, I again felt a bit bloated. I felt fatigued. I felt I needed to go to the toilet so many times. I felt again that I went to the hospital, to go to the hospital. It was in Netcare. And I felt when they told me again it was hemorrhoids, there was a disconnect at that point. call it misdiagnosis as you may, but it was just a connection that I was not understanding. I then came home and I decided I'm going to do my own research and just understand what is going on with my body. And I did. And eventually, just before I went into, around July, I went to hospital again. I already knew that I had cancer, but I did not know how much, how big or how stressful it was at that time. And through this, I actually, I never thought at all that I would go through everything. So I went through the symptoms, as I said. But when eventually I went to the doctor, I was told those 3 dreadful words: I have cancer. I was with my sister and my mom at the time. It was devastating, very devastating. I never thought, me, I live, I'm healthy, I eat healthy, I hike, I'm outdoors. How is this possible? Who am I? Is it from my dad? You start looking around and you wonder, how did this actually happen? Next slide, please. In the first 3 months of hearing those words, I obviously had to go through surgery. And in those first 3 months, I still kept on asking myself, what on earth is going on? Who did I falter? Because ultimately, that's what we go to. You wonder, who did I hurt so much that the universe had to give me this? Cried, I felt alone. My family was there, but I still felt alone. You try to pray, and it's still so hard. And at that time, I remember I was preparing my son. I was preparing for my son. And I kept on saying, okay, I look at Xolani Gwala. If I look at the guy that was doing on the movies, it took him 4 years. So I only have 4 years to live. And I can actually do this. So my son is 11 years at the time. I need to prepare. At around 15, I will be going. And then I sat down, and at some point I thought, no, Lerato, you're going about this the wrong way. Just go online and try and see what people are saying about this. As much as you see a chicken, people eating chicken, eat the chicken, but throw away the bones. That's all the negativity. The chicken's all the healthy nutrients. How about you change the strategy and you start focusing on the chicken, the meaty stuff? And that's what I started looking at. I then messaged my pastor's wife, and I said, listen, I know my family is going through this. We are all crying and we're not helping each other. They moved in with me. It was so difficult. I think we need help. If you can just send out a message to the community and say, please pray for us. We've never had to do that before. But this time, we need a community. We need a community. We cannot do it on our own. I then started doing chemotherapy and radiation. And I think around that time, I met then my nurse navigator, who then looked at me when I came through the first time as I was strolling down, crying. I was scared still. And she looked at me and she said, I remember seeing you the first time when you came through to consult with the oncologist. You were in tears. But today, I take you into my hands and I just want to handhold you. But first, what I'm going to do is walk you around and introduce you to people. I just want to show that you are no different and you can do this. You've got it in you to do this. And I remember I was being introduced to an old man, I forget his name. He looked at me and he said, Lerato, colorectal cancer. Oh yeah, I was told about you. Listen, the first thing that you're going to do is take ginger sweets. Or if you want to feel if you feel like you want to vomit, take ginger sweets. If you forget everything that we've ever taught you today, remember, ginger sweets. So I felt at that time, already there was a relationship that was already starting. And because of when I felt that felt the source of courage has to come from myself. It has to come from within. For the past 3 months, I felt so alone, so negative, but I felt, Lerato, I think it is time. You can see all these positive faces. These people are not dying. These people are doing well. They're smiling, they're laughing. How about you start that for yourself? Because that's what you need to do for yourself. Nobody else will do it for you, right? And that's exactly what I did. Every single time I came for chemotherapy for about 6 sessions, And my sessions were a one week long session. So every day I had to come in for chemotherapy and radiation. So it was quite strenuous on the body. But I want to tell you this, that on days when I was high, I was really high. If you can see on that photo there, that was me in the oncology room, in the toilet. If you go through to my TikTok, you will see me singing and belting my lungs out in there. And obviously with TikTok, you can't make noise, you're just miming. But that's the positivity that I needed from myself. And so many people, when I posted those videos, they just felt, Lerato, oh my goodness, you are doing it. You are doing it. At that moment, I felt, Lerato, fake it until you make it, girl. That's all the energy. That's all the energy that you need. Fake it until you make it. But what you can do also is look around these faces. And then how about you start being an impact on all these people that are new, that are old, the nurses, all these people, every one of us is facing COVID for the first time. We are all fatigued. Nurses are just as fatigued. Nurse navigators are just as fatigued. How about you go to them and say, how are you doing this morning? Not about me. Let me put me aside for a while. Let me just ask you today, how are you doing? Are you well? How did you wake up? Did you wake up on the right side of the bed this morning? And for me, that made an impact. And I suppose Cyril saw that, my nurse navigator, and that's why maybe I'm here today. The community that was around, overseas, online, I know Gerda spoke about the Cancer Champions of Hope. I went online. I never at any point felt alone. But obviously with COVID, it was quite stressful because there's no family member that's coming through, right? You're at hospital, you're spending about 4 hours in hospital, you're alone. And at that point, you either go online, you either sleep, or you either chat to people around just to encourage someone. Whether somebody will encourage you or you will encourage someone, either way, it worked well for me at that time. I think family and friends were all there. And shame, unfortunately, some people never know what to say. I think people, you just need to meet them at where they are and know that they mean well. I mean, there were people that would come through to me and say, oh my goodness, you have cancer. Goodness me, I feel for you, because I remember I had a colleague that passed away from cancer. They don't mean harm. They don't mean harm. That's all the association they know. And at that point, anyone could actually say, excuse me, get away from me. But at that point, I met them and said, we can maybe structure a conversation for the next person in this way, as opposed to saying that way. And maybe take an opportunity. So I took it upon myself. I suppose it's an educator mode kicking in. I took it upon myself to change the person's conversation or narrative at that point to say, maybe let's structure the conversation this way. And this is how you can help. And I thought at that point, I could help someone. I want to speak also about the nursing staff, the nurse navigators, the patients around there. Everyone felt like family at that point. COVID, nobody's coming. None of the family members are coming. So if you don't talk to anyone, you're going to be alone, and you're constantly going to feel you're going low and low and low. So how about you just smile? Even if you don't say a word, somebody needs that smile at some point in their lives. So just smile, look at people, and you'll see the difference that you're making at someone. I think what I know for sure now and what I've learned, we can move to the next one. Yeah, thanks. Is that on days when I accepted that I was weak, I became weak, and I was okay not waking up. I was okay not lifting a finger. Just wanted to stay in bed, and I was okay with that. Lerato, meet yourself at where you are. I was quite gentle with myself, and I want to encourage all the patients, all the warriors, all the survivors. Be patient with yourself, because you never know how far along that will go. Receive love from every single direction. There were moments where I couldn't even drive myself to the hospital, where my family was at work. My mom couldn't drive. And at that point, I had to use an Uber driver to get to the hospital. I spoke to the Uber driver, and they just, they felt for me. They felt for me. And I said, don't feel for me. Just watch out as you're driving, because you're the one that may have an accident somewhere if you're not looking, and then you will go before I do. So, let's just, let's make sure that, encourage someone as you go. It was such a blessing. I think for me, that that positivity that came within, it flew onto some other people. I think it was just a ripple effect. It's like you throw a stone in the river, and that ripple effect just encouraged someone, touched someone. And I heard a lot of positivity. Oh my goodness, Lerato, you're an ostomy. Goodness, I would never deal with that. How was that? And I said, well, I look at it this way. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for that little small bag there. I wouldn't be here. It gave me a second chance to life. So that's how I decided to look at life. And I thought, just meet yourself where you are, Lerato. If you feel you want to go out, and I said to my family constantly, guys, I want to be somewhere today. And I remember my sister saying, let's drive. Maybe we don't have the money, but let's drive. Let's see where we can just land. And I remember going to one of the guest lodges just for me to stand by the river. And I was so fatigued at that time, but the staff at that lodge actually pulled me a wheelchair and they pulled me right to the river and they said, just sit there, this is for you. So everyone is kind around that time. It's a community of positive people that just want to make an impact. So when you're a cancer patient, you must never feel alone. And if you do, if you get to those moments that you feel alone, it is okay. Take me, as I said, meet yourself where you are at that particular time. But just know that people want to be part of it and give them that. Give them that. I remember I said, I don't need a psychologist. I'll be fine, you know? And then I decided one day, maybe let me go to see the psychologist. And she said to me, Lerato, do you love making a difference in people's lives? And I said, yes, I'm a skills development facilitator. Of course, I want to make an impact. Said, how do you feel? And I said, it makes me feel great. If I see people smile, it makes me feel amazing. And she said, no, you continue to say to people that want to help you, no, thank you, I've got it together. That's what you are taking away from them. You're taking away from them a blessing. So if they say they want to help, ask them how they want to help, or tell them how you want to be helped. And let them be blessed, because as much as you feel blessed when people help you, or when you help people, they also want to be blessed. Give them that. Don't just say, I'm okay, I've got this together, even when you know you actually need them by your side. Live fully and find happiness in the little moments, and create your own spark. I received a message from my pastor's wife this past weekend, and she said to me, Lerato, through this journey, I've seen a little spark that you created yourself. So many people, it's COVID, so many people can't visit, can't be there. But we saw a spark, and your spark ignited us. And we are positive around you. We don't treat you like a patient. But on days when you want us to, we will do that. But we've seen a spark, and we lit up every time we see you. Next slide, please. Why the need for support? I think Cancer Association and Netcare are doing a great thing, because with this, and this is for myself, because I obviously had this access to, you've got an access to a network of people who have walked this journey before, those who cared for people who walked this journey. So they may know, perhaps, as we said, it's different symptoms with every different person, but something small may help you along the way. And it's journeys of survivors and warriors that are going through the journey. Think of it like a hiker, right? We're hiking together. We're going on this journey together. We all want to get to the summit, right? And along the way, the potters say, listen, I'm watching you, and I want to, are you walking right? Do you have the right food? Is your heart beating correctly? And everyone, look at your nurse navigator, your nurses, your doctors, everyone that wants to be around you. Look at them like that. Just some people wanting to get you to the summit, or want to get to the summit with you. We're all a community after all. We're all together in this. And as I said, talking helps. I'm an introvert at heart. I know looking at this now, you won't believe it at all. Talking does help, and talking helped me a lot. Right? I cried. I was in my little corner, and that's okay on moments like that. But when you're up, you need to talk and say what it is that you want, what it is that you feel for. Because if I didn't say anything, all these pictures that you've seen from the video, it was all during the cancer journey. All of the photos are from the cancer journey. So if I did not speak up, my family wouldn't have known that I actually want to go out. I want to do that. want to have coffee. I want to go see my son do something at his school. You know, I want to be there. Although yes, it's COVID, and you know, obviously they're taking more care of me, but I also want to do all those in case. Again, that in case, you need to shun it away. You need to shun it away, and that's what I've learned. Lerato, just live today, leave it sparkle, make a difference in somebody else's life, and you will see how great an impact you are and those people become at the later stage. And as I said, it improves the quality of life as well. If we are in a community, in support groups, and I'm feeling down, and someone at that particular time says, you know, this is what happened to me, somehow that gets into me and I feel a little bit alive as well. So the support groups and the conversations around, they ignite each other. Every single person is bringing their own spark, make a bonfire. That's how I see it. And that's how I've always seen it. As I said, people will meet you at different stages in your life. Just take it as a hiking journey, and you want to get to the summit. You won't do it alone. You've got people talking to you. You've got cheerleaders on the side saying, you can do it. Don't shun them away. You can do it. They believe in you. Maybe at that particular time, you don't believe in yourself. They believe in you. And that's what, take that, internalize it. If you have to fake it until you make it. You will get to the top. I hike because of that. I get to the office after hiking and I say, Lerato, whatever challenges you face in the office, you've hiked this mountain. Nothing will ever beat you. You will get to the finish line. Just remember the strategy that you do when you're out there in the mountain. It's tough. Mount Kenya was tough for me. And I thought, I can't do this anymore. But the guide said to me, look at it a few years from now, your son will be looking at you and say, my mom did it. My mom did it. I actually want to go further than how she went. So that's how I look at life. The cheerleaders, I just want to say to all the nurses, the counselors, families, the nurses that I felt were my family, the doctors, the caregivers, you know, other survivors, another warrior that were constantly there, whether it be on online, whether it be just somebody as I'm going through, you know, the Pine Haven and I'm going through and I'm just saying, hi, today I don't want to talk, but somebody says, you've got this. It's the little voice that stayed with me, right? That's all that matters, right? In the end, I just want to say, we're all become a family. And for me, that's what CANSA has given me, the Cancer Association. That's what Netcare, Pine Haven has given me. And I really appreciate this opportunity. I think this partnership that you are forming now is quite a powerful partnership that will definitely go a very long way. So thank you.
Wow. I don't have words. Lerato also just wants you to know, she's a mom, which she mentioned, a blogger, and known as an ordinary girl from Krugersdorp who loves to live life authentically and encouraging others to be the best version of themselves despite challenges they are faced with. After your story, you are a superhero. I salute you. Warrior girl. Thank you for your inspirational story of hope. I think you've touched many, many lives today. Thank you, Lerato.
Thank you.
And now I want to introduce a cancer caregiver support group facilitator. It's going to be a video because she cannot be with us today. It's Dr. Sheila Moorman. She's an exceptional volunteer and has been a cancer volunteer for the past 13 years. Being extremely well respected within the community, she runs 2 monthly support groups on behalf of cancer, one in North, which has run for 11 years, and one in Umhlanga. These meetings always have excellent professional speakers, staff and patients can all benefit. Within her group, she helps and supports the attendees in their cancer journeys. She's always there should they need any assistance or a kind listening ear. She mourns the occasional loss of her friends. During the past year, has attended 16 funerals and supports the families in the pain of that loss. Dr. Moorman is not just there for the good times, but also in the bad. As one of our leader volunteers, she also attends regional volunteer meetings and gives helpful and honest input regarding what is needed to improve the work and image of cancer. Dr. Moorman is a very special woman with a noble soul. As a volunteer, she's a huge asset to the organization. We're going to watch a video clip. But I just want to mention that when you listen to this video clip, Dr. Sheila Moorman talks from a place of face-to-face meetings, which was pre-COVID. And as we all listen today, that can no longer take place due to COVID. Hopefully, when we return to our new normal, we will once again experience face-to-face meetings. So please see this video in the space of the face-to-face that it used to be. Thank you.
Olivia, before we go to Dr. Sheila's video, it is International Survivors Month, so we decided what we want to do is actually celebrate that with a bit of music. And one of the things that are very striking at the moment, and it's taken over social media, is a lady with the stage name Nightbird. And anybody that has watched America's Got Talent would understand where this lady came from and what her story was. A 30-year-old woman that's been struggling with cancer for a while and now has stage 4 cancer that is spread throughout her whole body, but she has not given up. Her catchphrase is, "I cannot wait for life to stop being hard to be happy." And I think for International Survivors Month, it's going to be very, very fitting for that. And then right after that, we are going to go to the video of Dr. Sheila Moorman.
Thank you, Emmanuel.
I moved to California in the summertime. I changed my name thinking that it would change my mind. I thought that all my problems, they would stay behind. I was a stick of dynamite and it just was a matter of time. Oh dang, oh my, now I can't hide. Said I knew myself, but I guess I lied. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. If you're lost, we're all a little lost, and it's alright. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. If you're lost, we're all a little lost, and it's alright, it's alright. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. I wrote 100 pages, but I burned them all. Yeah, I burned them all. I blow through yellow lights and don't look back at all. I don't look back at all. Yeah, you can call me reckless, I'm a cannonball. I'm a cannonball. Don't know why I take a tightrope and cry when I fall. Said I knew what I wanted, but I guess I lied. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. If you're lost, we're all a little lost, and it's alright. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. If you're lost, we're all a little lost, and it's alright, it's alright. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. It's alright. Oh, it's alright. It's alright. It's alright. Oh, it's alright. Oh, it's alright. okay, it's okay, it's okay. If you're lost, we're all a little lost, and it's alright. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. If you're lost, we're all a little lost, and it's alright, it's alright. It's alright, it's alright, it's alright. Yeah. It's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. If you're lost, we're all a little lost, and it's alright.
Hello everybody, I'm Sheila Moolman-Clough. I'm a cancer volunteer and I started running the Durban North Support Group in 2004. And then in 2006, we launched the Mhlanga Support Group at the Oncology Centre there. I've been asked today to speak to you about what a support group means to you. And I'm basing my talk obviously on the experience I've had over the years. I've based it mainly on the things that work. A support group often conjures up in your mind the word crutch. It's a physical thing. It's what your GP, your oncologist, your radiotherapist help you through your physical aspect of your disease. But what about the mental aspect of your dis-ease? How do you get support for that? When you're diagnosed with a life-threatening situation, your mind just goes into absolute shock, and then follows the fear and terrible anxiety. And also your head is just buzzing with questions. I remember being in a clinic many years ago, in a day clinic, and next to me was a lady, and we couldn't see each other. But her radiologist, I presume, came through to give her the results of a scan she had. And he proceeded to tell her that she had lesions in her liver and then left. And this poor woman was trying to attract attention of the nurses, asking, is anybody there? I've got so many questions to ask. And this is what happens. Your mind is just full of what now? And to be honest, your professionals, they address what they need to, but they just haven't got the time to answer all of your questions. So this is where the support groups play a major role. There's a great fear and suspicion out there, I think, of support groups. What are they? Are they tales of woe and everybody's stories and depression? And I think that is way far from the truth, and it's a myth that we need to dispel. When you're starting out to start a support group, I think there are a few things that you need to look at, and that is, one, just safe place, a safe parking, safe access to your rooms, especially if you're having a meeting in the evening. I think you need to have a really warm, welcoming atmosphere, just that ambience that is welcoming. So you need to welcome people with a smile, chat to them, introduce them to some of the people that have been coming for a while, and just make them feel welcome. In my opinion, the group should be non-denominational. To me, everybody is welcome. And we especially encourage friends and family to come, as they're the caregivers and they also need a tremendous amount of support. Having found the ideal place for your meeting, then you need to let people know that you're there, which is very important. It would be ideal if we could have pamphlets and brochures and posters in the rooms of the oncologists, GPs, radiotherapists, and the chemo room, just to point people and let them know that there is a support group around. Another way I found that's very helpful is to have adverts in your local paper. And also the radios have been very helpful in sending out notices of what's on. And this reaches the public quite efficiently. The purpose of our meetings. Our mission is to inform. Knowledge is power. We usually have a speaker, or often we just have a roundtable discussion or an open discussion on various topics with the group. We have professionals, doctors, radiologists, physiotherapists that come in, and it gives us an opportunity to learn and understand more about cancer. It's to learn about its cause, the diagnosis, the treatment and rehabilitation. Also, it helps us to understand the medical problems that may arise from the disease, or treatment and how to deal with them. Treatments often have lots of side effects, so we need to learn how to cope. Nutritionists, physiotherapists, and all sorts of exercise gurus, qigong, yoga, breathing techniques. They all help us to improve the body's defenses. Better nutrition is important, and also movement and exercise, which can be suited to any stage of your healing. It definitely promotes a feeling of well-being, and it's known to raise our immune system. Also, you feel as if you've achieved something. We address the spiritual and the emotional. We have many cancer survivors. Sorry, I must just tell you, a patient came to me the other day, and she insisted that she was not going to be called a cancer survivor, and she wanted to be known as a cancer thriver. So we have many cancer thrivers telling their story. This is so powerful and conveys there's hope, and there can be a light at the end of the tunnel. Theirs are stories of great courage and inspiration, and it's a way for them also to give back. So our patients gain a lot from their stories and their talks. We also try and encourage a belief system. We're not religious at all, but when we have talks on death and acceptance, it often brings up the topic of what happens after we die. And I think if you have a belief system, it really helps that aspect of your journey, and also the journey itself. We have people coming in to do meditation, relaxation techniques, massage, breathing techniques, all of these things, all finding ways to relax the mind. We also have speakers that come in and tell us how they have coped, and they have expressed their moods through art, music, sometimes poetry, journaling, and even just taking up a hobby that gives you great pleasure. The emotional, which is a huge thing to learn about, because we go through all these amazing, terrible the emotions during our journey. Shock, denial, anger, fear, guilt, depression, loss of confidence, loss of self-esteem, loss of independence sometimes, and also that loss of feeling of femininity and masculinity, and also obviously the fear of death. So psychologists help us to understand our emotions and to try and find ways to cope with them. Ways of improving self-esteem, we try and encourage a bit of pampering for yourself, give yourself a treat. The loss of hair, we try wigs, mastectomies, there's beautiful bras, there's prostheses available. Also there's pampering, take yourself off to the spa. Men also have similar problems with certain cancers, and they need help in counselling to voice their fears. We have doctors that deal with marital relationships, and also physios that do rehab of dysfunction. So I think it's important that men can get together themselves without women around, and even if it's a coffee morning or forming another group. I've got a lovely tale of a woman who came down from Zambia, I think it was, with her family, and they rented a holiday house in Mhlanga so that she could do her radiotherapy there. I met her in the waiting room, and I asked her, oh, it must be lovely to have your family down with you when you're doing this. She says, well, not really. She said, it's so difficult to keep that happy face on all the time. And this is what we do. We try and protect everybody, and we keep all our emotions to ourselves, and it's really not good for healing. So communication is so important. We also try and address the practical problems. Also, if you're receiving poor treatment, you've felt with care institutions or caregivers, CANSA will also look into this for you and help. Also, we try and make people aware of what is practically available to them. We have lawyers, by the way, coming in to encourage people to make a will, which is or trust, and explain how to do it. And it's also very important. It's something we should all be doing, and we don't. But as I said, we also try and make them aware of other institutions that give practical help. We also are basically a resource center. You will find that there will be 100 questions asked about where they can get this and what's available in the community. So it's good to have pamphlets and information about people that supply services, that do massage or whatever, where to get wigs, prosthesis, bras, anything like that. So it's good to have information for that as well. Collaboration, I think, is also, to me, is very important. CANSA also has a huge range of, especially the website is just, I try and direct people to that as much as I can because it's full of information. Also, I try and share the times of my meetings with the other cancer support groups in the area. And some of them share back because sometimes they go to both. You'll find that they see that one support group's got a good speaker, so they'll go. So it's good to share that, and it gives them a larger access. Another important aspect of a support group meeting I've kind of left to the last. As I said, when you first come to a support group, you don't know what to expect. You'll find a room full of strangers, but you actually end up finding that there are people with common needs and experiences. And they know exactly how you're feeling and what problems you've been facing, and your family. So you find there that you're definitely not alone. I feel that giving adequate time after the session and having a bring and share or sponsored eats creates the mood and time for chatting. And I try not to chase them away too soon. I stand back and I watch the interaction, the odd tear and the hugs, much laughter, and the enduring friendships that are formed and that stand the test of time. The support given and received is invaluable, and I found that people listen to their story and identify with each other. A support group's a place where it becomes a refuge. It's a safe place to talk with people that share your experience. It's a place to come back to and reconnect. It's a place to calm your mind with the knowledge you've gained and to come to terms with what your disease throws at you. It's coming to an acceptance. I had a lovely interaction with a patient. We have lots of fun. We have a party at the end of the year. And this chap came to me. He's been coming for a long time, and I know him well. And he's had many ups and downs. He's had a really hard time with recurrences and all sorts of problems. And he came to me and he said, I've reached that stage where I wake up each morning and thank God that I'm living for another day. I turn and look and my wife is beside me and I'm just happy. And I just found that was so inspirational for me. And it's what we're trying to achieve, is that acceptance. So to answer your question of what a support group means to me, I have witnessed great courage and being taught humility and gratitude. But what does a support group mean to me? It's a collaboration of health professionals in all aspects of healing and many and the sources that exist in the community that can make a support group a truly holistic experience. And it plays an essential role in the continuation of the healing process after treatment. It helps to equip the patient with the tools to cope with and accept the challenges that life brings. So that's the end of my talk, and I thank you very much for listening. Thank you.
Oh, what an exceptional lady. We just want to thank Dr. Sheila Moolman for her commitment, passion to the cancer cause, and her role she plays as a facilitator and as a caregiver in the area that she works. We want to salute all caregivers. Well, before I go there, as I mentioned before, we said that, you know, we had to take the talk from a place of when we had face-to-face. When Rowan mentioned that our virtual is second best because we want to do the face-to-face. But at the moment, COVID is not allowing this. So hopefully, when we return to that new normal and we again experience the face-to-face meetings, we can again bring in, well, we can bring in professionals virtually, that's something, but that safe space that Sheila was talking about, that we can again experience that. But I want to take this moment now just to thank all the caregivers that are on this meeting. You played a very, very, very important role. And I'm going to read a caregiver script, and I want you to act out what I'm going to say with me. We celebrate the lives of people who have battled cancer, remember loved lost ones, and fight back against the disease. And for every survivor and loved one celebrated and remembered, there was at least one caregiver beside them through their journey. Caregivers, you are a hero. Whether you think so or not, the small things you did made a big difference to that person who suffers with cancer. Yes, you are our heroes. You made the difference. Caregivers, do this exercise with me. Look at your hands. It is these hands that cared for them. It is these hands that bathed, cleaned them. It is these hands that fed them. It was these hands that worked tirelessly for them. Now cross your arms. It is these arms that lifted them. It is your arms that carried them. It is these arms that hugged them. Now cross your arms over your heart. It is the heart that cared. It is the heart that shared. It is your heart that remained strong to help them through the night. Yes, it is your heart. Even though you grew weary, you remained strong because you too had to just for them. We take this time to honor you, our heroes, our caregivers. I salute you. We are now going to open the floor. We're going to look at the chat box, but we're going to open the floor. Please raise your hand if you want to ask a question so that you can be unmuted. And just a reminder that participants should please complete the evaluation form. And then when you ask questions, can you please either direct it to CANSA or Netcare or just to the open floor, wherever you feel comfortable. Thank you so much.
Olivia, if I go through the chat box, there hasn't been a lot of questions, but there has been a lot of show of support. Just thanking the guest speakers and also what Netcare and what CANSA is doing. So I just want to reiterate that. And if you go onto the chat box, you will notice that Lucy Bologna from CANSA Marketing and Communications shared a lot of links that you can go to if you need any additional help, or if you need any additional services, or just to talk to various people. But I'm going to ask Lucy to also just share Gretchen's email address for us on the chat box so that we can just have it refreshed as well. There is one question that came through now, and I think it is better to direct it to the chat box because of time. We've got about 54 people still online, so if we allow everyone to talk, it's going to be quite a long time. But there is one or two questions that has come in. So Leila asked, "Hi, thank you for this meeting. Please could you confirm if the support is available to public hospital patients?"
Heather, do you want to take that, or can I answer? Gretchen, do you want to take that?
I think, yes, sir, we confirmed that. It's a public-private partnership, so it's open to all cancer patients and caregivers.
Thank you.
All right, I'm going through. There's no other questions so far. Just show of support. If there's anybody else that wants to ask a question, please do so. I think the guest speakers and you as a facilitator, Olivia, did such a great job. I don't think there's a lot of questions. Nicole says as well, thank you, Olivia and Rowan, for an amazing and informative session. Same from Gita. So, yeah, it doesn't look like there's any other questions at the moment.
Okay. Do you want to close off, or?
Sorry, Olivia. Rulov just added now. Sorry to interrupt you. I'm looking for a support group in the Johannesburg area.
I'm going to put my number in the chat box. So if you can contact me, I can connect him to the support group that would best suit him.
Right, then Raisha asked, how often will we have these sessions?
Gretchen?
Rowan, you can go ahead.
Well, I think largely it's going to depend on what everyone wants. We had thought before starting this meeting that perhaps we could offer these virtual support groups for now, at least monthly. But I do know that there's an evaluation form that we've been invited to comment on. And perhaps if you could give an indication to us as how often, when, where, how, etc., these support groups might be offered, that would be most beneficial. That information would be great to us. So please give us your inputs. We'll be guided by you.
Absolutely. And then, as Rowan mentioned, the date is Saturday, better for everybody instead of a weekday. The times, that type of thing. We need to know how it's going to suit the majority.
All right, then one more question. Will the presentations be available to us? I know that we are going to be editing this entire session, and it will be shared on the social media, Facebook social media, as well as YouTube. And I'm hoping that Netcare would do the same. So all the presentations would be part of this whole event. So once they are shared, it'll be within this next week. You will be able to see the presentations on there as well with the guest speakers.
So I want to just thank all the speakers today. Thank you for everybody that participated. Thank you for your input. Thank you for your time on a Saturday that you took away from your family. Thank you for making this whole webinar a huge success. And we look forward to growing this relationship, Netcare CANSA. And from my side, before I hand over to Gretchen and Rowan, is that I just want to say, I read on markandangel.com, it's not what you say to everyone else that determines your life. It's what you whisper to yourself that has the greatest power. And that to me was just a message that I took away from today as well. Thank you very much. Over to you, Rose.
From my side, just a reminder to everybody, you are powerful beyond measure. You matter. Please don't walk alone. Thank you.
Yes, from my side, also, you are braver than you think you are stronger than you think you are. And we are here to support you. Please remember, we did add our contact details. Any questions, any suggestions, feel free to contact us. Thank you.
Okay, and then last but not least, I want to thank Neil and Jacques for making today so possible. I mean, we wouldn't know which buttons to push or when to do. Thank you, EP Digital. You guys are amazing. Thank you.
Where you are, through technology, we are all connected. EP Digital, keeping you connected.